Resident Evil is one of the most influential survival horror games to come out in the past 20 years. Hell, it popularized the entire genre with its use of fixed camera positions, oppressive environments, and gruesome violence. I mean, Alone in the Dark did that a few years ago, or DOS, but no one played that game, so this one is the one that everyone remembers. Anyway, the game was thought up by once Capcom employee Shinji Mikami, who went on to create some of the best games in the entire series and genre combined. He decided to come up with the Resident Evil game idea in response to the disappointment with Zombie, a gory 1979 film by Italian director Lucio Fulci. Mikami was determined to make a game with none of the failings of the movie. Set in a creepy mansion, he wanted to make players feel isolated, horrified, and, most importantly, giving them a sense of survival. After developing a Goof Troop game for, yes, that Goof Troop, the game went on to become an instant critical and commercial success, and the franchise continues to survive. Well, in most cases, but we'll get to that when we get to that. With the franchise's 20th anniversary this month, well, at least in terms of Japan and America, and in a blistering thought came to my mind one night and I thought, I guess I could play all the mainline games and give a retrospective. So then I did that! The thing I just said, I'm doing that right now. This is what you're watching. So, without further ado, let's begin where it all started with Resident Evil, specifically Resident Evil Director's Cut. Let's begin.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's the menu screen I want in my video game. Well, let's start off this retrospective with the first game in the entire franchise, Resident Evil. Or more specifically, Resident Evil Director's Cut, which was released just under a year after the original game. What does the Director's Cut add? I'll get to that later, but since there's no subtitles, I'll have to stay quiet for the intro because since this is a PS1 game in the late 90s, it is fully authorized to use full motion video, so get ready for some good hokey acting. And some interesting voice acting. If you haven't seen the voice acting in Resident Evil, oh, you are in for a treat. But before we get to that, we need to pick our character, and look at those live action actors on the front. That's great. And also, there's actually a little bit of a, not typo, but like translation thing on the front is, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner there, you'll see that it has the last letters for the name Biohazard, which is the name for this game in Japan. Of course, when it came over to USA and UK and basically the West, they had to change the name because of copyrights due to two games, one of them being a quote-unquote a crappy DOS game, and the other one being some weird cyberpunk game. So there was an in-house competition at the company in order to rename it, and Resident Evil 1. The only problem with that is that it only makes sense in context of this game because this game takes place in a mansion and everywhere else takes place in boats, foreign countries, more foreign countries, and creepy prison areas, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But whatever, we're going to be picking Jill Valentine because she's much cooler than Chris. Now please enjoy this glorious, glorious opening cutscene. Since there is no subtitles, I will try to be quiet, but I will make comments. 1998, July, Raccoon Forest.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
Found it? No, I haven't found it yet.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
So, I love how in the newspaper it mentions the murders, which makes sense because of media, but they mention the top secret operation that STARS Team has to go in order to save Bravo Team. And it says that they rescue Raccoon City. That's not what they do. They go to Raccoon Forest in order to try and find Bravo Team. So, I'm not sure if the media just got completely wrong. And yeah, there's those actors, quote-unquote. 90s F&V was amazing. Can we just go back to this time? This is a much simpler time. And Chris just looked super pissed. As cheesy as this opening cutscene is, I do actually like the effect that they did with the dog, because obviously they didn't want to show the entire thing, because I imagine it would have looked quite cheap if they showed it, but they do some nice camera work with it in order to hide it and show all of the details that they put onto the practical effect. So it does actually come off as kind of threatening. I love that. I love that so much. But no, best line read ever coming in 3, 2, 1.
No! Don't go!
No, the CGI helicopter left us. No, quick, make a run to that weirdly abandoned mansion that we may know was there the entire time, question mark?
Jill, run for that house!
I'm not entirely sure, I have to be honest. I'm pretty sure they didn't know that mansion existed, but, you know, screw it, we might as well try to escape it. But anyway, enough of that. Yeah! This is the character intro that I wanted! It's also really weird because this is the only game that includes live actors. The preceding games after this just used entirely CG cutscenes, so this is still around the time where Mortal Kombat came out and digitized actors were like super, or like putting real life actors in your games was super impressive. And you know what? I have to give credit to the guy who plays Wesker. That is a pretty damn good costume and look, considering the budget they were on.
Evil.
Let's play some Resident Evil. They have escaped into the mansion, where they thought it was safe. Yet, ellipses.
What is this?
Wow, what a mansion!
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
What is it?
Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go?
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay, let me handle this. Stay alert!
A dining room.
So, I love how we lost Chris even though he was right behind us. How the hell did he get separated? I mean, did he seriously just look away for 1 second and we were gone? He must have been running pretty damn fast. And did he even think to look into the giant mansion? Or maybe he went into the wrong door, who knows. Whatever.
What? What is this?
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Hope this is not Chris's blood.
I don't know, if it was Chris's, I'm pretty sure there would have been a trail because he would have had to have walked over here or get dragged here. It's kind of weird that there's just a random pool of blood, but whatever. Let's go look around this very well lit mansion that's in the middle of the forest. I'm pretty sure it's fine. I mean, there's plenty of well lit mansions in the forest, right? I always find that, like, I know they weren't able to do like a proper lighting engine at the time, but I always found it kind of weird that this is surprisingly well lit, considering it's supposed to be abandoned in the middle of the forest. But enough of that. We need to pay homage to one of the greatest openings to any villain or like horror movie monster ever, and one of the most iconic in the franchise. God, that still looks creepy. And being a special task member of Star's forces, you be a massive coward and run away. Because if you do this, you don't actually waste any bullets. Yo, Barry, I found some weird crap. You wanna see?
Barry?
What is it?
Watch out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of this. What is it?
Kenneth was killed too. Maybe by this creature. Anyway, let's report this to Wesker.
Man, I can't get over the voice acting. A lot of times with voice acting in early video game development, before voice acting was like a real like common thing, a lot of the times the development team would have to voice their characters. So I'm not sure if that's true in this case. I know of other Capcom games and Sega games where the development team had to voice act the entire game, but voice actors weren't really a prominent thing yet. God, I love this door opening thing. It adds to the tension so well. And it's oddly a high frame rate for some reason.
Wesker! Help me look for him, Jill. And don't leave this hall for the time being.
So we gotta look around this room, but unfortunately we have to face our greatest foe yet. Loading screens. Because apparently rendering the top and bottom of this mansion was too much for the PlayStation to handle in 1997. Or 1996, depending on what version of the game you're playing. But I also have to pay respect to the pre-rendered visuals of this game, because back in 1996, this looked pretty damn good. They took the approach of rendering pre-rendered scenes in the background in order to make a high-quality environment, while keeping the character models, of course, in-game engine-wise, so they could make it look more realistic. And it worked, because this game went on to sell loads of copies. So, yo, Barry, I didn't find shit. Let's just wait for the rest of the bottom of the stairs to load. There we go. Even though it's a great tension maker, it is to hide loading screens.
Find anything, Jill?
Nothing. What is this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
Beats me, too.
Now it's Wesker's time to disappear. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it can't be helped. Let's search for him separately. I'll check the dining room again.
Okay, I'll try the door on the opposite side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could get into trouble if we get lost. We should start from the first floor, okay? And Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. This time, I'll be there.
I think that's my favorite piece of clumsy exposition I've ever heard. Just Jill, the master of unlocking, you should probably use this. That's like in movies where they have to say stuff like that's going to happen in order for the audience to know. It's like when they go to a character and say, oh, I can't believe it's already your wedding day. Can't you believe it? And it's just like, well, of course they know that because it's their freaking wedding. Of course they're going to know stuff like that. I don't know. It's just one of those pet peeves of storytelling of mine. But I guess one thing that I do actually want to go over is I want to go over one of the most interesting things about the director's cut of this game, because when they announced the director's cut coming westward, one of the things that they said they were going to change is they were going to add the uncensored version of the FMV. However, due to a technical error, they actually completely forgot to put it in for the USA and UK versions of the game. I believe it made it into, I think it was Germany and Spanish versions, but not for the UK and American versions. And to make up for it, they put it on their website. However, just equip my gun. However, to make up for it, they put it on their website. Unfortunately, that website is no longer available, but I'm just going to put it in the top left-hand corner right now because there is some pretty gruesome stuff for 96, especially in games, to show, which is kind of weird. But it shows off a bit more of the dog, and it was also in color, which was a new thing, and I can't believe that missed. Do not trust dead bodies in this game. They probably want to kill you. And I do love how flaccid the gun sound is. They've got blood splatter, that means they're dead. Let's just move on and get some ink ribbons, which we use in typewriters to save. So you have to manage your saves very carefully, otherwise you could save at the wrong point. And that is no good. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you move this in order to get the thing in the top of the statue right there. However, I just want to get to a certain... There's two things that I want to get to before the end of this little retrospective, so I'm just going to hurry my way through. So if we move in here, we get one of my favourite pieces of dialogue if you just click on this chest of drawers. Creepy stuff. Grade A survival horror writing right here, folks. Just creepy stuff. I want that to be in the next Silent Hill. That will probably never get made. Whatever, let's just continue down this corridor and holy shit! Of course I knew that was coming, but first time, I'm not gonna lie, that scared the bejesus out of me. And like I said before, be a massive coward. Run away. That's how you live. If you're playing a survival horror game, don't be a massive hero, be a massive coward. And, God, the camera angles in this game are so good. When I see that camera angle for the first time, I kept on thinking that it was going to be a cutscene of some kind. And if we get over here, we're able to get a green herb, so I will pick that up. Which is the stable health item in the Resident Evil universe. And one thing that I do actually want to point out, which is just a little nice little detail, is if we go into here, which I believe is the bathroom? Yeah, okay, the bathroom. There's not much in here as far as I know. I'm not really too experienced with PS1 version of Resident Evil, so there could be something in here, who knows. But I just want to point out that this game has reflections, which may not sound impressive to people, but for PS1 era, that is pretty freaking impressive. So this game is more technically advanced than the Order 1886 confirmed, because that game did not have reflections despite being a graphical showcase. God, that was disappointing about that game. But anyway, whatever. Let's just move through here and enter this door, because we need to go and explore this mansion a bit. This game got remade quite a few times, and one of the weirdest remakes, and just move through this completely not important room. Nothing's gonna happen in that room, I swear. Hint, hint. One of the weird things about this game is that this game got remade a few times, and one of the weirdest ports of this game I ever saw was it was actually on DS in Japan. I think it was called Resident Evil Dead Room or something along those lines. It was very weird, and I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure nothing will happen from me taking that shotgun. And I do love how she acknowledges there was creepy stuff in this mansion, but if we take this tapestry, it's just a tapestry. Nothing unusual. Yes, the tapestry with the Mayan death god is not unusual. I'm sorry, but if I walk into a creepy mansion and I see loads of skulls in desks and freaking Mayan death god tapestries, I'm just going to assume that the guy's a weirdo who owns this place. But hey, whatever. Let's just move on back into this room and... Oh god, no! A trap! I didn't expect this! The useless room was a red herring, except it's not a red herring because it's actually a herring, but whatever. Door's locked. Might as well give up. At least we got a shotgun out the deal. So, I know I'm treating this scene with a lot of uninterest, but it leads to one of the best lines in the entire game.
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Barry, help me, please. The door won't open. Quick!
Stay away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna
So
kick
Barry,
this door
being the
down.
freaking trooper that he is, kicks the door down,
Hurry! This way!
and you hurry out. Even though I don't know why he sounded so, like, enamored? Is that the word I'm looking for? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Like, worried? Because we had, like, a good solid 60
Barry!
seconds before he would have crushed us.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
I know that line's supposed to be really funny, but
But Barry, didn't you say you're going back to the dining room?
it just
to
comes
do
off as
some research?
inconsiderate, in my
Or
opinion.
are
Like,
you here?
wow, thanks, asshole, I almost died.
I just had something I wanted to check. Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?
And I also love how when you ask him why he's on this side of the mansion when he's supposed to be on the other side, he just completely nods it off, like, it's nothing, and then you take it.
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
He even said that he needed to check something. Isn't that, like, a little bit suspicious? Whatever. I'm sure he'll be fine. So, that's pretty much one of the main checkpoints that I wanted to get to before the end of this little retrospective, so... Let's just unlock this door, go on through. And go to, unfortunately, one of the most disappointing points of this game. And you know what? I'm actually going to kill this guy because... Come on, go. Ah, god damn it. Oh well. Yeah, let's kill this guy and... Okay, he's dead. Waste all that ammo. We have to go to one of the most disappointing parts of this game, and I realise this is because it was the first in the series and it didn't become a staple yet, but... If you go into this room, you go into the save room, and what do you find in the save room? I mean, yeah, we got the place to save and we could get some chemical, but... There's no save music, and that's such a staple in Resident Evil. I know it's the first game, but come on, guys. It's always disappointing, and whatever. If you're playing this game, I'm going to show you a massive tip. This is what you do. You go to this item storage box, you get your clips, but before you get your clips, you get rid of that knife, because it's completely worthless. And also put the chemical away, because you don't need it. But, if you're going to get this game, I actually don't recommend getting this game, because there are so many better alternatives. And we'll get to those when we get to those. So, all you people with, like, the square button for reloading, you don't know how good you've got it, because if you wanted to reload in this game, you would have to go into the menu, select Combine, go up here, combine the clip with the gun, and there you go, you reloaded. Also, while we're on the subject of combining, you can combine drugs together to make more drugs. I mean, there's no getting around it, it's mixed herbs, it's drugs. But whatever. I think that's enough of this little bit of a retrospective. This game was one of the gateways to the modern survival horror genre, so it was definitely ahead of its time, but there are definitely some better alternatives to the first game nowadays, but it's always nice to pay homage. So, with that, how about we use our ink ribbon and save? And make way to the next game next time, so... See you in Resident Evil 2.